Welcome to the Dodge Garage Download. I'm John Hammer, and I'm super excited to have one of the most energetic, what's the word I'm looking for here? Members of our community. If you've been around the Dodge hobby for even the tiniest amount over the last handful of years, you know who Pedro Murillo is. Pedro is the guy from DFWLX, the Dallas-Fort Worth club over there. And he was the guy behind the We Are Mopar show. And just a fantastic guy. And that's who we're going to talk to today on the Dodge Garage Download. Pedro, what are you doing, man? How are you today?
What's up, my friend? Everything's good, man. I'm really excited to be on this podcast. And again, congratulations for this, man. This is something the Mopar community needed for sure.
Well, while we can't get out and do car shows and stuff, the least we can do is, make some car enthusiast TV, I suppose, here on the internet, right? Why not?
For sure. Especially with you being the voice, man.
You're just being kind, man. Although I have to admit, you and I have met each other. We met each other. Well, heck, I've been with Dodge for 14 years, so we probably met each other 13 or 14 years ago now, right?
For sure, man. The SRT experience, remember that?
Yeah, the old SRT track experience. I got to tell you, that is one. And I know we've got our affiliation with the folks over at Bondurant now, which is fantastic, and they do a great job. But I got to tell you, for those 9 years that I helped lead that program, man, all my friends, they always look at me and they go, man, you got the best job in the world. That, Pedro, may very well have been the best job in the world. I got to travel the country and talk with nice people and teach them how to drive cars. And then I got to, give hot laps and drive, Hellcats and Vipers on the best racetracks in the country. It didn't suck.
No, man, it was great. And from the time that I got to experience it, man, I've been on Team Hammer the whole time. So, no, but it's been great, man. It's been great.
That's cool. I got to ask you, how are things going in the Murillo household over there in greater DFW?
Yeah, man. No, we're good. We're good. So we've been kind of locked down, right? So, we're both big advanced guys and we're always being outside with the cars and the people. And we've been stuck. We were fortunate enough to go on a little trip right before all this happened. But since then, we have been inside of this house with each other. And it's been really cool, being able to, spend some time with the family and focus on things that matter as well. And my wife is in remission from breast cancer as well. And, we've been a little bit of extra cautious with all of this going on, of course, because she's, if she gets that exposure, it can be deadly. So, but no, man, we've been great. Thanks for asking. How about yourself? What's been going on with you?
Should I air my dirty laundry? Why not, right? So just outside the studio here, my kid he's got about another week and a half worth of school left. And they're not going back to school, but they've been doing video stuff. Same thing with you guys, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's got to do this work on his own. Well, my child is 13 years old, and he has the motivation of a 13-year-old, which means there's none. So we've spent a lot of time yelling and screaming at him. So I'm hoping that it doesn't come through the door over here behind us, man. But
yeah.
Anyway, hey, although I'm glad that we're kind of talking about that, because that's the angle that I want to talk with you about here on the Dodge Garage Download is about how the whole virus deal has really messed things up for car clubs. You and your car club is one of the most active car clubs that I know of, period, bar none, in the whole country. So tell me how this has affected things for DFWLX and the things that you do.
Well, just kind of in general for everything, it's stopped, right? We're done. The club has been kind of shut down, and it's just not a good thing. We've been focusing on the online community piece of it because it's been a very rewarding thing for people to kind of come together and really focus on what matters during this time. And that's just that community and that positivity and all those great vibes behind it. But as far as the events and all that, just like, that's done for now.
Well, so. You of all people though have done a better job than Joe Average in building that online community. And now, nobody ever anticipated what's gone on here now. But what you've been building over the last handful of years has really worked into your hands, if you will, right now, right? I mean, with the community.
Sure.
Tell me about that. I mean, things. I mean, everybody knows hashtag Moparian now. I mean, who knew that it would become a community with tens of thousands of people now?
Right. So I mean, so there's so many different levels to this, right? And uh, we talk about how we go back, over a decade and kind of knowing each other and loving on this brand and these cars, online groups, or what we used to know as forums, right? Like, I mean, we were big forum guys, and I'm still a part of some of the greatest ones in LX forums and all these other great ones that were huge staples in the Mopar community. But with everything going to social media, you're talking about groups, you're talking about pages, and just all these great things. And Moparian, for example, I got this really cool sign back there. I don't know if you checked that out, but Moparian has just been a world of its own with just kind of engaging with other owners and fans. Moparian, the page, real quick plug, but has we're reaching close to 600,000 followers on that page, but over 30 million people a month. Like, it's something crazy, and it's all love towards the brand. But even going into it farther, we created a community which is now called Mopar Octane, and really love the name. It's just really, really cool and contagious with being able to say that, and it's just about the cars and that gas. And we have this community now that's built off of positivity. The foundation is Mopar, and everything there is living and breathing this brand. Whether you're talking Dodge or Chrysler, Ram, or Jeep, or any of this, it's all love, So there's, just like with anything, there's some challenges, there's some very special people around, but for the most part, man, it's been really positive and just a great, great thing to have, to belong to.
And that's exactly where I want to lean you in here, because for folks that are in clubs that maybe they're not as active as your clubs are, but they're maybe in a smaller group, or in any case, they want to do something with their club during this, I hate using the cliche during this time.
Right.
But the truth is, you got any suggestions? What can they do to kind of pass the time and keep their club together, even if they're not technically allowed to congregate and get together with the cars?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's definitely a tough one. And I'll tell you a little reasoning behind why we also aren't really active right now is because, you've heard all the reasoning behind just one touch, just one thing you touch, everything spreads, and you don't know how it does. You've seen all those examples of them playing, just going down to the basic of what this virus is and how it can spread. Is the fact that I've gone to some stuff while all this is going on, being in my car, never leaving, and I watch it, and it's so hard, man. I've been a hugger, even though it's awkward so much, so many times with people, because people are just different. But I've been someone that shakes hands. I've been someone that hugs. I've been someone that really wants to engage with the individuals, and it's so hard to change that. Right. So even with the best intentions, it's really difficult for people to still follow those guidelines, whether you're wearing a mask or gloves or whatever. It's just scary. And that's the crazy part. But when it comes to that, if you're really trying to do something and be out there, parades are the biggest thing. Cruises are the biggest thing, right? Don't get out of the cars, run out there and choose a location, set it all up, where you're meeting up, where you're stopping, where you're ending, and bye, right? Anybody that wants to get out and kind of hang out and talk, that's, again, adult decisions and adult consequences sometimes for all those things, right? But there's always ways around it. I mean, everything you can do, whether you're talking business, club, or whatever, you adapt, right? And this is one of those adaptations, just even here with this podcast, which is perfect timing, right? But that's one of those things. You adapt to what's going on. And if you truly believe that it's necessary for you guys to be out there and in the cars and engaging with people, especially right now, then there's smart ways to go about it.
Have you had any particular things that are successful with keeping people excited and engaged in the online community?
For sure. I'll give a quick shout out to a mutual friend of ours, Oriana. Started up on her Instagram a virtual car show, like car meter, just kind of hangout of showing off your cars and talking about it. And that was a great pastime, right? And I still haven't, unfortunately, been able to lock in time to be on that, but it was just great to watch and to see people showing off their builds and their cars and just talking cars. And then, of course, on Mopar Octane, we have a variety of different, I think once a day I was posting different topics. You're talking, what have you done to the car? What color is your car? What's the next purchase you're planning on doing? What's the mod that you bought during the pandemic? Like, there's something to keep people talking and engaged, and it's been great. And obviously with people just hanging out at home, it's actually been way more active than normal, right?
Hey, you mentioned your wife a little bit ago, and number one, dude, it's so good to hear that she's doing better now. That is huge. I remember when you first made that announcement, I think every one of us in the community, we were all like, oh, no, not that. You're not that family. You guys are so good. So I'm glad to hear that. But you mentioned that she's actually been taking over on some of the things to help you out as well. Tell me about that.
So small town girl from North Carolina. When I met her, BMW owner through and through. She had never had the idea on Mopar, never wanted one, or never considered one. Let's say that. And man, she has turned out to be one of the biggest Mopar fanatics. She got behind the wheel of this Destroyer Gray Hellcat that's in the garage. That's a daily driver, and it's completely changed it, right? But she's gone on. Obviously through the club and through all these connections and people that we've met, to really embrace this community and the positivity that's gone behind it, and countless charity events that we've been able to do together that she's organized and brainstormed and kind of brought to light, along with things through the club and shows and all these great things. She has now led up a great community group called the Ladies of Mopar. And you can find that on Facebook, of course. And there's thousands of ladies in there that are diehard fans and owners. And man, I was jumping in there. They had me as tech support, by the way. I'm the only guy up in there that's allowed into this group. And I was basically tech support on the back end of this. But I'll jump in there, and it's nothing but positivity, right? Like in the world, like we're on Mopar Octane, you can see some guys in that testosterone come out. Man, every time I go into this group, I'm like sad because I'm like, man, I want to hang out with y'all. Like, y'all are all so nice to each other, right? But
Yeah,
so positive. But the coolest thing is that I've been able to see, and she's seen this obviously firsthand, but behind the scenes, man, there's some really passionate ladies that are owners, and I mean, by all means, they're certified mechanics up in there, and just people that live and breathe this brand. And she's been able to lead up that community, and it's been so positive. And she's received communication from higher ups at FCA and just great people that are in that group, and and just kind of thank them for creating something like that, right? But even beyond that, she's taken the reins of the Wham show, and just helped out with that in a time where all this is going on. Her focus has been on growing community and really putting a focus on people, and that's positive. And I'll say that with mentioning it again, this was all through the time that was the hardest time of her life, battling breast cancer.
yeah.
Right. And there was a focus and something that called to her to be able to do something like this. And it's been great, man. So, hats off to her. And it's been great to be able to see it. And for individuals like ourselves that know what it is to build up stuff like that and really truly inspire and lead. It's been great to see that right from my own home. So it's been great.
Hey, I know we're getting a little tight on time here, but before we go, you got a bunch of cool stuff in your office. Can you show us a couple of things?
Yeah, man, let's do this. So that concept of signing the hood, we got from Dodge Rocks, and this came from it at Wham too. And it's been basically the most that kind of deal for me on the office. We kind of built around it, right? Or started throwing stuff around it, but you got the hood from Wham and some features on magazines back when Rides was still operational. Missed that magazine, but had a really cool article there, and just some signage, right? We're talking just Mopar stuff. We're talking the sign. Here you go for Moparian. This is a really cool
That's
sign
really
that we
cool.
added.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. The light up one, that's fantastic.
Yeah, man, it lights up pretty well. But yeah, so and then just kind of just some random stuff, just kind of going from here. But here's my what I call my Mopar shrine over here, and going from the old We Are Mopar trophies, and the cool chips from SEMA, and just some cool 3D cutouts. Obviously, the Leah Pritchett Lego set. I was able to kind of jump in with Lego as an ambassador through that one, and just some cool items. The Dodge Demon reveal. Remember that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And look at, you've got the antlers, from the Christmas tree a couple of years ago. That's great.
Dude, I love this stuff, man. I like elephant, everything, man. So yeah, some of the media kits and all this stuff, but other than that, man, there's just, the office is crazy. I'll show you. Just look at that.
Wow, dude, that is
So
packed full of stuff.
it's so much, but yeah, man, I got just a whole bunch of really cool toys. I love to be inspired by different things, and whether you're talking comic or you're talking Mopar, just kind of being around it, and the office just kind of speaks to that. So I'll turn around and remember a show that we did, or a community that we helped kind of grow, or a show that we got thousands and thousands of people to sign a hood from, and just kind of bringing all that together. So it's been cool, man, and that's just kind of what I take into the office and kind of see every day.
That's awesome, man. Especially now, spending so much more time in the office. I'm doing the same thing. My home office is, I'm spending 8 hours a day in there now, and it's cool. Same thing. I've got a bunch of car stuff hanging up on the walls, and it's just great, man. Dude, Paige, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today. This has been really, really fun.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the invitation. I can't tell you how fun it is to be able to kind of sit around and just talk cars, and truly, man, I am honored to be on this podcast, and thankful for you to have reached out and to ask for me to be on it, man. I thank you so much for that.
All right. Hey, just to give everybody a quick hit, where do we go to find you and find the communities?
Of course. So Facebook is our dominant platform. Just search Moparian. You'll be able to find the actual page, and then Mopar Octane for the group. And there's so many different communities from that, man. But you'll find it through all of that, and you'll be able to jump in there, and hopefully we'll be able to see you around at Wham Show 2020 if we're able to host it, if it's safe in there.
Hey, man, that's what I'm looking for. As soon as we can get out to an event together, we'll go burn some rubber, all right?
I appreciate that, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you can see why Pedro is one of my favorite people in the Dodge community. He has got a ton of energy, and he believes it. I mean, he mentioned he daily drives a Destroyer Gray Hellcat, and he's got the passion, no doubt. I am so thrilled that you spent some time with us today. Certainly appreciate it, and keep your eyes open for the next installment of the Dodge Garage Download. I'll see you then. I'm John Hammer.